Good day, everybody. My name is Matt Wood. I am the National Sales Manager for Furno USA. I'd like to welcome you to our technology showcase. This is our kickoff to what is going to be a series of technology showcase presentations, and we are going to provide a lot of in-depth and really exciting information on pretty much our entire product line. We will be talking in depth about our TZtouch3 and TZtouch2 MFDs. We'll talk about our digital radar sensors, talk about some of our standalone fish finders, all the way out to our big multi-beam WASP system and our 8L Omni sonar. So over the course of the next several weeks, we're going to be bringing you a lot of information. We look forward to spending some time with you and answering as many questions as we can. So I do just want to sort of set the stage. We have a bunch of really good guys working behind the scenes with us here. None of us can be in multiple places at the same time. So some of this will be live, like this studio shot here. We will be using a little bit of pre-recorded information so that we can really get in depth with a lot of the products. So, but since it is kind of live TV, we just ask that everybody bear with us. We're going to do our best job to present this information with a minimum of hiccups. So we appreciate it. So today we're going to start off doing a deep dive into our BBWX4 weather and radio receiver and introduce our implementation of a really exciting feature called fish mapping from our industry partners at SiriusXM. This is going to be available very, very soon. We'll talk in detail about that. We also want to introduce and talk a little bit about our own free global Nav Center Weather download capability. You'll see that coming up here in just a little bit. So I am coming to you from our headquarters offices here in Washington State, and with me today also, if we haven't managed to lose the connection, is the general manager of our East Coast facility on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Tim Moore. How you doing? We still got you, Tim?
Hey, good afternoon, Matt. Doing great.
Hey, good to see you, man. So not too long ago, you did some video for us. Tim is not just a GM; he's a super experienced guy here at Furno, and a lot of boat handling. He does quite a lot of product testing and validation for us. So you're going to see some information from when the weather was a little bit better a few weeks ago, where Tim was able to get out on the boat and run around in the Chesapeake Bay and show off the features of TZtouch3 and fish mapping. But before we get into some of the video stuff, Tim, just as a quick introduction, what was it that you saw when you were doing the product testing that really sort of set you off? What do you think that people are going to be excited about?
So, Matt, you're right. It's an extremely exciting product to use. One of the things that jumped out at me when you first turn fish mapping on and bring it up on your TZT3 screen, you get these bright, bold colors that show the different fish species in your area. But I found out as I continued using it more and more that while that is great information, there's other great information available too. I mean, SiriusXM has really outdone themselves this time. So, I mean, when we're out fishing, especially sport fishing, what are we looking for? We're looking for areas where predation is taking place, right? So Sirius is providing us with great information on where plankton is found, where the sea surface temperature breaks are, and all these are nice bright lines. The sea surface temperature breaks are in red, plankton concentrations and plankton front strengths are in green, and where these lines come together is where you're going to find your best fishing action. So, you know, what I found, it doesn't matter if you use the most simplistic form of it or use all the information that's available. Everything you could possibly need to find more fish is located in the information SiriusXM is providing through your TZT3. It's really awesome.
Yeah, all of the stuff that we've seen on it, it's pretty amazing technology. So yeah, we're excited to take a look at it, and we'll do a little in depth here. So we are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook here. I want to just give a shout out to Dimitris from Greece and Rafael from Mallorca. It's great to have both a national and an international audience. Want to invite you to type in any comments, type in any questions in the live feed. We're going to address as many questions as we can. So what we're going to do now, we're going to transition to some of that video of Tim doing the product testing and demonstration on one of our test boats there in the Chesapeake. When we come back out of it, we'll come back into question and answer sessions. So as you're going through the video, make sure that, you know, if anything isn't clear, if you've got any questions or comments, please get those into the chat. Come out, have a question and answer session on the other side of the video. So sit back, enjoy, and we will see you in a few minutes after the introductory video.
Thanks guys. I'm out here on the boat today to talk about some of the features of the TZT3. We're going to talk about weather, we're going to talk about music, and we're going to talk about a new feature coming out soon in the next version of software at TZT3. So let's dive right in and take a look. One of the coolest parts of my job is testing out new features, and I've spent the last few months testing out a new feature coming to you soon on the TZT3. Fish mapping from Sirius, and it's a super cool thing. Let's take a close look on what it does, how to set it up, and what you'll need to get it. Fish mapping by Sirius offers so many cool features, so let's take a look at them. Hit the home button, and what you'll see is we now have a fish mapping page. We'll tap on that fish mapping page. So right now, I'll show you where we started. So we're right here up on the Chesapeake Bay, and obviously in the bay there's not a lot of fish mapping information, so let's go off the coast a little bit and see where the fish might be hanging out. So right now we're off the coast of Ocean City, Maryland. Let's go up and see what might be available. So what I'm going to start with is turning on fish species and fish recommendations. Okay, so fish recommendations are on. So let's choose some species. We have tuna, billfish, swordfish, kingfish, wahoo, mahi, yellowfin, blue marlin, albacore, bluefin, big eye, white marlin, sailfish, and skipjack. A lot of sport fish to choose from. So let's go ahead and turn some on so we can see where they're located along the coast. As I'm turning them on, you'll see that it's building on the legend on the left-hand side of the screen. And now we'll look at all 13 fish that are available out there. So I'm still not seeing any off the coast of Ocean City, but we know it's getting cold up here in Maryland. So let's go down the coast a little bit, and there we go. That's when we start to see them. So right now here off the coast of North Carolina, we're starting to see all the different fish species available for fishing. So if we just take a quick look, we got purple, so we got some billfish out there, we got some wahoo, got some blue marlin, got some billfish. So we have a lot of good information. So let's talk about what some of this information can do for you. So knowing where the fish are alone is probably the most important aspect of fish mapping, but it also offers a lot of other features to also help put you on the fish. So what we'll do is we'll slide up from the bottom, and we can see all the different features available through fish mapping. So right now for sea temperature, we have sea surface temperature contours turned on, but we can change that to fronts, and we can see that our red line's changed. We can also change it to our minus 30 meter depths, and it'll tell us what those depth temperatures are. We'll clear up the screen a little bit. We'll get rid of sea surface temperatures. Now we can look at plankton concentrations, and we'll start by looking at contours, and you'll notice these are green lines. So these are our plankton contours. And we can change that to plankton front strength as well, and we'll see those green lines change and where the plankton fronts are the strongest. Go ahead and turn that off, and we can check on surface height anomaly. These will be yellow lines, so everything really does stand out. And you'll also get a reading of what the surface height anomaly is. We're in the negative range here, positive range over here, further out in the ocean. We can also check where weed lines are. And the cool part about this is it's easiest to see when you're zoomed out. So weed lines are this pinkish purple color. So if we go ahead and zoom in on them, this is where we're going to find our weed lines. And as you see, there's not a lot of weed lines out here in the Atlantic Ocean today, at least not being reported. So let's go down to the south a little bit. And pretty cool thing to see here. So that's our surface height anomaly still turned on, and we can see this front taking place right here. A lot of good information. So let's go see if we can find some more weed lines. Okay, so there's some weed lines down in the Gulf of Mexico. Zoom in on these guys. Scroll up from the bottom again. Our fish recommendations we can turn on and off. Once again, if you wanted to clear the screen up. We'll go back up here and we'll see that all of our fish recommendations are turned off. If we want to see them come right back up, we just tap on them. And you'll see all the fish icons are back up. And also, I have everything turned on for all the different types of fish. If you're only looking for specific types of fish, you can have that on as well. We just come down here to fish species, and say for instance we're only looking for tuna, maybe kingfish and wahoo. We'll leave mahi on too. Yellowfin's tuna. We'll get rid of the swordfish. Albacore's tuna. I'm not doing really good with my fish today, am I? Big eye. We'll turn off white marlin. We'll turn off sailfish. And billfish are off. Okay, so now we're pretty much specifically looking for tuna. It makes the size of our legend a little bit smaller, still keeps information for sea surface height anomaly, weed lines on there, but it also tells us the color of the different fish species we're looking for. So while we're on this screen, we can tap it, we can drop a new point, or we can say go to. And I have an Navpilot 300 autopilot on board as well. I could choose to go to any mode I want and it'll steer us right to that target. So as you can see, there are a lot of great features on the fish mapping page that we can make use of that will put us on the fish a whole lot quicker. And I'm really looking forward to the next software update and getting this information in your hands. Specifically, if you already have Furno BBWX4, because you're already getting weather or you're already getting music, fish mapping is just an added subscription. It'll work right through your BBWX4 and TZtouch3. All you have to do is call Sirius and add fish mapping right to your subscription. And a few minutes later, after you turn it on, you'll have fish mapping information readily available at your fingertips. One of the great features of the TZtouch3 is its ability to show weather. And we can do that in a couple of different ways. The TZtouch3 has built-in Nav Center Weather that you can get to for free simply by connecting your TZtouch3 to a Wi-Fi hotspot, whether it be on your phone, whether it be at your pier, whether it be at your marina. As long as the TZtouch3 can get to Wi-Fi, you can download free weather, and it's done very quickly. Another option is using Sirius subscription weather. Now, the difference between the two is Nav Center Weather is a weather forecast that is free. Sirius is a real-time weather that you must have a paid subscription for, but both of them work great for what they do. So what I want to do now is show you guys how to set it up, how to select between the two, and make your choice to use the one that works best for you. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the free weather service built into every TZtouch3 called Nav Center Weather. But before you use it for the first time, I got to show you how to connect your TZtouch3 to a Wi-Fi hotspot. On this particular boat, we don't have Wi-Fi at this marina, so we're going to use the hotspot on my phone, and I want to show you how to set that up. Cool part about it is, like any Wi-Fi hotspot, once you connect your unit to it, you never have to do it again. It's a one-time thing. So I'm going to show you how to set it up, whether you're using your phone or the Wi-Fi at the marina or even at your house. And we'll simply start by tapping on the home button, choosing settings, the general tab, and we look part of the way down the page. We'll see wireless LAN settings. If we tap on wireless LAN settings, we'll leave the wireless mode set to connect to existing LAN, but we'll turn wireless on. Okay, now we see my iPhone popped up down the bottom. So I'm going to click on connect. A keyboard will come up and we click OK. And now we're connected to my iPhone. Okay, so now that's all set up. We can go ahead and back out of the menu, and we'll go to one of the things I also need to show you while we're in here to make sure our weather is set up correctly. Out of the box, it's going to be set to Nav Center Weather. Okay, we just want to confirm that. So we confirm that by coming down to the Weather tab, tapping it, looking at our weather data server, and right now it's set to Nav Center. A few more things we can change in here is adjusting the forecast and what we want to see. So right now we're set to USA, but the other thing to keep in mind is Nav Center Weather works worldwide. So if we happen to be outside of the United States, we can just click the drop-down box and choose worldwide, and at that point we'll be getting worldwide weather. Okay, now we can choose what we want to see. Out of the box, it's set to 4 forecast days. You can take it all the way up to 16 days. Obviously, at that point, it's a forecast, so accuracy might be limited. So for now, let's just leave it set to 4 or 5 days. Now we can choose what we want to see. So right now, we're choosing to see wind, waves, cloud, rain, snow. I'm going to go ahead and turn on air temperature. I'll turn on 500 millibars. And we'll also choose oceanic currents and altimetry, and I'll just leave plankton off for now, just so we can show you how to turn things on and off. Okay, so now we're set for what we want to see. The way you use the weather page is to tap the home button, and this is your weather icon right here. Okay, so we'll just tap on it. And this is the weather we had from the last time we were here. If we want to get our latest weather, we simply tap on the screen and choose Get Latest Weather. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys about one thing you always have to remember. The weather you're going to download is for the screen you're looking at. So say, for instance, we were zoomed in real far to just this tiny area. That's all the weather we'll receive when we click Get Latest Weather Data. So what I usually do is I like to zoom all the way out, get a nice big area. So you can see the last time I downloaded weather, this was the area I was in that I downloaded weather for. So now that we're covering half the country and part of the Atlantic Ocean, we'll tap on Get Latest Weather. Now, this takes anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds, depending on your connection. Let's take a look and see how long this one's going to take. So right now we see a weather update in progress across the top of the screen. The weather update bar really won't move. It essentially goes from 0 to 100% instantaneously, and you'll see that take place in just a second. If for any reason you want to get out of it, you can click cancel. And as soon as it's done uploading, you'll see the screen fully populate with weather. It'll tell you the download has succeeded, and now we have weather for that area we had on the screen. And now, here's where things get really interesting because there is a lot of information available. If I tap anywhere on the screen, like I'm looking at my wind vanes here and I want to see what the wave directions or the wave height is for a specific area, I can simply tap on it. I see the wind's 15.4 knots with a direction of 220 degrees, and the wave height in this area is 12 feet. So that's pretty interesting and amazing to see that you can check the weather before you even head out to a specific area, like the canyons off the coast here where a lot of people sport fish, right off the coast of Maryland. We can also tap on the screen to get more information, see surface temperature, air temperature for that area. And remember, this information is for wherever you tap. So if we tap over here, we're going to get the information for that specific area. If we want to choose the weather data we're looking at, we simply tap on weather data and we can turn things on or off depending on what we want to see. If we want to see waves, we just turn that on. Sea surface temperature is another good information. If we want to see if there's any rain in the area, which we can see right now there is rain, just off the coast and just north of us and also to the west of us a little bit. And anytime we want to get more or less information, we simply tap on weather data and choose what we want to see. All the things we chose in the main menu to download every time we get weather is going to be available here at the tap of a finger. And that's the basics of the Nav Center Weather feature on TZtouch3. And for most people, that free weather service is perfectly good enough, gives them all the information they need for a great day of boating. Now, if you're a little more serious and need a real-time weather update all the time, we offer the Furno BBWX4 Sirius weather receiver. So let's take a look at what the differences are and how to set that up as well. Right now we're still looking at the Nav Center weather screen. So if we want to change it to Sirius, we can do that. Simply go to settings, back down to the weather page, and as you see right now we're still set to Nav Center. We can just simply choose SiriusXM, but like I said, don't forget this does require the Furno BBWX4 weather receiver. We can get back out of there and go right back to our weather screen. And now we're looking at real-time Sirius weather information. Okay, we see the rain coming up, we see all of our wind information, and we can tap the screen. And just like before, we can choose the weather data we want to see. If we want to turn on waves, we can do that instantly. Sea surface temperature, we can do that. And if we want to throw in some pressure bars, we can do that as well. We also have advanced weather data that allows us to get some more information for buoys, city data, storm data, lightning if we have any in the area, which we don't have right now, and storm tracks and marine zone information as well. If we want to know that our Sirius data is working properly, we do get that question fairly often. We can look at the screen and tell that we do have weather information, but if you want to see that your Sirius weather receiver is receiving, we just go into settings and we'll go to initial setup. We scroll all the way down to the bottom. We can do SiriusXM weather diagnostic. And if you look here and you see numbers on your counts, you know that your Sirius weather receiver is receiving data and you do have accurate data. Go back to the weather screen real quick. So we also have an animation bar where we can animate the weather data. You'll see it start to move. As the weather bar goes through, we'll see changes taking place in our fronts and our wind. And we can see how the weather's going to change in the Sirius forecast as well. When we're done that, we can say stop animation in the upper left or just stop it down in the lower left-hand corner. And just like before, anywhere we touch, we can get information for that specific area. So right now this data is still populating because we did just turn the unit on, but we know in that area we have winds of about 12 knots in a wind direction of 268 degrees. The one thing to know about Sirius is you do have to leave it on for a bit. We just fired this unit up about 5 minutes ago, so it's still populating weather data, and it will continue getting updated weather data as long as you have it on. I hope you enjoyed your trip to the boat with me today to see all these great features found on the TZtouch3. Whether it's the free Nav Center Weather downloads and how easy it is to set that up, or all the additional information you can get from adding a Furno BBWX4 to your vessel, and the great music, great real-time weather, and now, most importantly, the fish mapping information you can have to put you on the fish that much quicker. I appreciate you being here with me today, and now back to you guys in the studio.
And welcome back to the studio. Yeah, great video, a lot of information there, and we appreciate a lot of the comments that have been coming through in the chats from both of our streams. Again, live TV, so we're going to try to come up with a combination of answers and try to answer some questions and provide some additional information. Again, it's great to see both a national and an international crowd. We got Captain Tyler. You're going to be really happy with the package that you've got on your boat. That's going to be pretty cool. You're going to be fully hooked up on almost everything we have to offer here pretty quick. So let me first start off by saying that, as exciting as the BBWX4 is, it's even more exciting right now because there's a pretty amazing rebate in play for customers in the United States and Canada. So the rebate's been in play for a few weeks now, and it is available through the end of this month. You can go on FurnoUSA.com and see all of the details of the rebate. You can download the rebate form if you're a purchaser between mid-January and the end of March, and you have a month to get that rebate in. So you will get a $100 check back from Furno, and you will get as one rebate. And as the other rebate, you'll get $100 back, a $100 gift card back from SiriusXM. So those $100 bills will basically pay for 2 months of your subscription service. So remember that you have a separate subscription for weather and Sirius satellite radio, SiriusXM satellite radio. The fish mapping service, you can check out all the details on SiriusXM.com/fish mapping. But the subscription service is $99.99 a month. So if you think about that $200 rebate, you're getting 2 months basically for free for buying it and turning it on. That service is going to be, so the fish mapping service is available now with a couple other manufacturers. As soon as we do a software update on TZtouch3, that'll be available through the BBWX4 for our TZtouch3 customers. And Tim, I'm going to kick this one to you. Can you just sort of let everybody know that the differences in service, we know that it's going to be available on TZtouch3. Can you just touch real quickly on compatibility with TZtouch2 and what software levels guys are going to need to enable the fish mapping feature?
Absolutely, Matt. That's a great question. So for TZtouch2, when we're talking about the MFDs themselves, fish mapping will not be available. However, if you have a TZtouch2 black box, you will be able to get fish mapping, but it will require a software update that's coming in the near future. As far as TZT3 goes, the software, it will be version 2.1. We've been testing it recently, and we're going to release it to the general public on next Tuesday, which I believe is March 9th.
Yeah, so like with really any of our MFD software, well, everybody should be familiar with the fact that we've really combined and harmonized the user interface on TZtouch2 and TZtouch3. But again, just to echo what Tim just said, so the TZT2 MFDs, the TZTL12F and the TZTL15F won't be able to use the fish mapping, but the TZtouch2 black box unit will be able to do it. That's with software revision 7, and you'll be able to you can download that software, or you'll be able to download that software here pretty quickly. And then again, for TZtouch3, we have the version 2.1 software, and that'll be available next week. Again, download it off FurnoUSA.com. Pop it into your machine, do that software update, and you'll be able to use that feature. So for a guy like Captain Tyler on the feed, you'll need to update your MFD, but otherwise you'll be good to go. So just talking about the both the feature set and the coverage area, there have been a couple of questions. Like our friend Raul from Spain said the meteorology, the BBWX4 meteorology, the weather service doesn't work in Spain. That's true. SiriusXM it's a geostationary satellite feed, so it's available to primarily to U.S. customers. That coverage area will go a little bit north of the Canadian border, and it'll go a little bit south of the U.S. border down into the Caribbean. The actual coverage area will fluctuate a little bit. So you just got to bear in mind that for the Sirius weather, for the subscription weather, that is limited to the United States. But you also saw in the video, and we have been promoting as best we can, we have our Nav Center Weather. So the other weather feed going into our TZtouch 1 and 2 and TZtouch 3 MFDs is a free download. So that's the Nav Center Weather. So you can download that. If you can connect your MFD to the internet, you can download those files again for free. There's one level of precision for our global model. There's a more precise model for the United States. But you can, if you're on Wi-Fi or WiMAX in your marina, you can download that direct to an MFD, or you can download it on a memory card at home, bring that to the MFD. That is forecast data only, however. That doesn't involve the live weather that we see with BBWX4. Talk a little bit about, so we've talked about the data that's available. We've had a couple of questions about how often is it updated. A question from so that weed lines and all of this is based on actual observations, and fish species locations based on algorithms. This is true. But we've seen a fairly amazing amount of precision. Just the little bit of beta testing that I've seen and some of the product work up to date, it's really astonishingly accurate. When we look at when that data is updated, so sea surface temperature contours are updated about every 3 hours. Our other sea surface data, like sea surface data height, is updated daily by 5 in the morning Eastern time. Plankton counts are updated Eastern time by 10 every morning. And then the fishing recommendations. So this is another thing that you get with that subscription service and packing. I mean, it's an amazing amount of data and a really rich variety of data sources. That the fishing recommendations are going to be updated on Tuesdays and Fridays by 5 in the morning. So by the time you get your first couple of cups of coffee on board, you're going to be able to get going, and you'll see that data available to you. A couple of other things that we wanted to touch on. So again, data sources, where is that data coming from? So in the United States, it is a combination of data from both public and private weather services. So NOAA, National Oceanographic Atmospheric Administration, National Weather Service, in addition to a number of private weather services for the SiriusXM. On the Nav Center side of things, we use many of the same sources, but then we actually expand that for the global model. So it's a lot of global public sources of data that's coming into our big data cruncher and spitting that data out for free. I think, let me see here. There were a couple of other questions. Hello from France. Good to see France in the house. Good to see Australia in the house. For V2's Reef in Maryland. So you say you might need to upgrade. So you've got dual TZT14s. So yeah, you will need to do an MFD upgrade. Unfortunately, we can't provide fish mapping in TZT1. So you're looking at a choice really between your TZT12F in the TZtouch3 product line. Either a TZT12F, or if you want to go a little bit bigger, if you've got the dash space, the TZT16s. But that's pretty much going to be a drop-in. Those MFDs are going to be compatible with all of the other stuff that you've got on your boat, and you'll be good to go for the weather and the radio and fish mapping from the BBWX4. And thanks for the comment on sea surface updates. Both sea surface. So this is, while it's primarily about fish mapping, there's going to be a tremendous amount of really good information, especially like you look at sea surface temperature and sea surface height. It could be really positive for navigation as well. So with that, so again, the data stream, the fish mapping information is available right now. If you've got TZT2 or TZT3, you're going to need to update your MFDs next week. Again, the version 2.1 is going to be available next Tuesday, the 9th of March. Don't forget that rebate. The clock is ticking on the rebate. So again, $100 back from Furno and $100 back from SiriusXM. But you got to buy that BBWX4 by the end of March, and then you've got a month to get your claim in. So you'll get basically 2 months, of weather service for free. So before I get out of here and we do a little wrap up, Tim, anything else that you want to kick in there?
Well, one of the things I saw, Matt, is there was another question about midway down asking about weed lines being actual observations, but fish species and things like sea surface temperature, plankton, being algorithms. A lot of this is built on algorithms. That's absolutely true. And that's one of the reasons I pointed out early on in today's webcast to let you guys know that if you take a close look at where the sea surface temperatures and the plankton do combine, even if you don't see fish species in that area, say for instance, I went off the coast of Florida today and I was specifically looking for mahi, but I wasn't seeing any fish species recommendations on the screen. If I'm a captain, I'm fishing there all the time and I know they're probably there, the information Sirius is providing us with the plankton fronts and the sea surface temperature fronts is going to help put us in the area of where we're going to find those fish. But yes, you're absolutely right. A lot of this is based on algorithms of what we know to be true, and all that information is put together by SiriusXM and then just sent on out.
Yeah, copy that. No, thanks, Tim. Yeah, a couple late breaking questions coming in. Yeah, for Tyler there to get a second screen. So answer in two parts. If you've got TZtouch3 right now, then if you want a completely second screen, then yes, you need to add another MFD. That can be from 9 out through 19-inch. So in TZtouch3, we've got our TZT9F, 9-inch, TZT12, TZT16F, and TZT19F. So you got a choice of those. A little bit more geeky answer is if you have a TZtouch2 BB that'll support fish mapping. Remember that's really kind of two processors in one. So you've got screen A and screen B coming out of a black box processor. So that's definitely doable. But if you're going to stick, the recommendation would be to stick in the TZtouch3 product line and then just add one of those MFDs. The TZT9F is super affordable, so and available right now. And then a question from Robert. How often is sea surface height updated? So again, there's a little bit different schedule of the data that's updated. Again, sea surface temperature contours every 3 hours, sea surface height and a couple of other sea surface temperature characteristics updated by 5 every morning Eastern time, and then the plankton counts are updated by 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And yeah, so for Mark, thank you for comment on DFF3D. We're going to be doing deeper dives on DFF3D, and I'll just say this right now: watch our website for some material on some pretty dramatic upgrades on the TZtouch3 product coming next week. Version 2.1 doesn't just have fish mapping with it; it has a host of other features. That my boss would have a hard time with me talking about right now because it's still a little bit early, but we are going to be doing a full dealer bulletin. We'll have lots of material available for you there. And some of that is really going to positively affect the performance of the DFF3D and what you see on the MFDs. So I think that's about it. Tim, thanks for kicking in. Really appreciate that. Good spending time with you. Look forward to doing this again.
Absolutely.
And for everybody out there all over the globe, thanks so much for showing up, whether you got up early in the morning or you're staying up late at night. Great to spend time with you. We appreciate you attending the technology showcase. We're going to do this again with plenty of other subjects. Remember that pretty much as soon as we get done with the live feed, if you want to rewind and replay, or if you missed some of it, if you had to step away, that the recordings will be available on our social media feeds. And anytime you need any additional information on these Furno products or any Furno products, make sure that you check in with your authorized Furno dealer or reseller, or come and see us on our website at furnousa.com. Thanks for attending. Boat safe, stay safe out there, and we'll see you the next time around. Thanks for joining us.